So, do you like cats? Another Eden, The Cat Beyond Time and Space, is a gacha game developed by Right Flyers Studios. You can play on Steam and mobile, and it's probably the most underrated media on the planet, which is crazy because pretty much anyone can play it, and it's free. You play as good boy Aldo on his journey to save his sister after the Beast Tribe kidnaps her. The story is done by my boy, the legend Masato Kato. He has worked on games like Chrono Trigger, Baten Kaitos, Final Fantasy VII, Xenogears, just some of the best games ever made. And they all had help from this guy. His work here is also just legendary, and it's so incredibly vast. I've played Another Eden off and on since I was 17, and only now, as a 21-year-old man, am I finishing up part 2 of the story, with part 3 coming soon as well. This is just due to the fact that the amount of content here is absolutely insane. I mean, we're talking main story, side quests, lore quests, character quests, episodes, collaborations, ensembles, and even side content that feels like entirely different games. There's a roguelike dungeon, a fake MMO, fishing, a cat Pokedex, a different battle system for your cats, plays you can cast your characters in, a straw doll that you can raise as like your own party member. This is a game that is just packed full of quality content, and the writing doesn't suffer either. The game is very heavy on like time travel, parallel worlds. It seems very inspired by Trigger and Cross. You can actually even get cross characters within the game, but I'll talk more about that later. I'm basically just a sucker for the story in this game. The writing here is top tier. Even the most basic filler quests will like have you shedding tears. Like, these are quests that you just, accept from an NPC. It says, "Oh, I get a few gacha gems from this for a quick little pool." I'll be like, "Okay, I'll do it." And then boom, I'm crying. That's the kind of story that's here. It's hard to talk about though, because of just how it's split up between so many different types of quests and gameplay styles. But nothing in this game is wasted time. Whether you're doing a character quest, a collaboration quest, or just like I said, a basic side quest, you don't ever feel like, damn, I'm wasting my time right now. And that's crazy, because this game is so massive with how much content it has. Like, I'll be laughing, I'll be crying, I'll be like pointing at the screen with my mouth open. I'll be so hype, like just full soy mode. And even the worst parts of the gacha like have nothing to do with the balance or the gameplay. The worst part is that since you will never get every gacha character unless you're rich as hell, you'll never get to see all the character stories. That's a shame. But they're on YouTube if you really need to see them. You can just watch them. There are some great Another Eden channels out there that keep up to date on the content. Most people, when they hear gacha, will just not play Another Eden. But unlike other gacha games, even if you never do a gacha pool, you'll be fine. And that's because of the crossover quests, where you get all these like really powerful free units from other games. So there's Persona 5 Royal, like 4 different Tales of games, or even more, I think, and Chrono Cross. Yep, the Masato Kato's actual baby child, Chrono Cross, is just in this game as one of the events. And not only are the quests like well written, and they tie into the Another Eden storyline in certain ways too, but the mechanics from each game are actually implemented. So when you're playing the Persona 5 event, you have to ambush the enemies, like in the dungeon. You have bullets for some of your attacks, and you get a double attack if you hit a weakness, just like in the game with the once more. Tales of has, cooking, skits, and mystic arts. And the cooking especially is cool because that's like just a mechanic in Another Eden now. Like, there's just cooking throughout the whole game, and that's from the Tales event. Chrono Cross is also incredible, that event, because it implemented the entire element system. If you've never played Chrono Cross, the element system is like materia from FF7 on actual crack cocaine. It is so insane the amount of customization you can use through the element system. And that's just in the game now after this event. It's incredible. And of course, the Chrono Cross event has multiple characters you can recruit, multiple endings, and even New Game Plus, which is just crazy. Like, all the events in Nether Eden are just so well done with how they're balanced, because you can actually choose the difficulty on a lot of them. So if you're at the very end of the game with the most cracked meta team, you can max out the difficulty and still have a challenge. Meanwhile, if you're early on and you want to get these done when you're still weak, you can just set it on the easiest difficulty and get the free characters. It is amazing. They also use remix tracks from each game. But not only that, there's music that isn't from the original games, but is done in the style of these games. Go listen to some of the songs. I have a Spotify playlist I'll put in the description. It will blow your mind if you have any love for video game music. And real quick, I just wanted to play my top 3 favorite tracks from the game. This last one is special because I actually heard it before even knowing this game existed, and the second I heard it, I was like, I gotta play this. The gameplay for Another Eden is also very, very fun. It destroys so many like free-to-play mobile tropes. First of all, like I said, you can choose the difficulty for a lot of events. If your team build sucks, just choose easy. You're good to go. You have 6 party members, only 4 active members, however, and reviving characters is more or less impossible. However, at any point in battle, you can switch with your inactive members. This does take up their turn, but when they're inactive, they heal HP and MP, and so you can kind of do like strategies where you go out, you do a bunch of buffs with one character, then you switch back to a different character that can either do different buffs or can assist with the attacking, and it's just a really fun combat flow. You can have so many different strategies, And the most powerful attack in this game is called Another Force, which stops time in the battle for real seconds. You'll just have a bar that's depleting in real time, and the goal during this is to just mash your strongest attacks as quickly as possible. So you really got to set up for Another Force in the battle, and then just go ham with Another Force, mashing the attacks as quickly as possible. Needless to say, I love this mechanic to death. It adds a real-time element to the turn-based combat, and finding a build that took my damage into the thousands, hundred thousands, and even hundreds of millions felt so good. You can also just get like flashy attacks after you do Another Force, depending on like what your team setup is or what certain characters you're using. And visually, it's just awesome. I do wish the character sprites themselves were slightly better animated. The rigging can be kind of stiff at times, but every single dungeon, field, and town looks straight out of a painting. Not to mention the character designs themselves are just so badass. I mean, of course, the gachas, you know, they thrive on good character design, but oh my god, man. After playing this game, I had to import the art book from Japan just to check out all the amazing designs in this game. I could spend hours here gushing about every questline in this game, but honestly, I just want you guys to go and play it yourselves. It's completely free on Steam and mobile, and like I said, even if you hate gacha, you can just completely ignore it. The monetization is so well hidden that I felt guilty while playing, because I would have happily bought this as a full price game. So if you want to play what is essentially the third Chrono game, RIP Chrono Break, I'll never forget you, there is pretty much nothing stopping you from doing so. I couldn't recommend giving this a try more. So yeah, this has been Mac. Video games are awesome, but I'm getting hungry.
Dinner at